Hey everybody, Gene here. Welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, where every single week we answer the most common and uncommon questions about tapping and EFT so you can move past the basic recipe and start mastering the art of delivery. You'll learn how to find root causes faster, clear issues quicker, and have longer lasting results with your tapping. To that end, I have created a new program that I'm calling Art of Delivery Monthly. Every single month, I'm going to teach you a new tool or technique that you can use with the tapping. You'll have a chance to try it out in a small group setting. You'll get a chance to ask me questions. You get a chance to ask me questions about anything in our special Ask Me Anything section. And then we'll end every single monthly session with a tapping jam where you can bring up any topic you want and we will tap to it and get it cleared. For more information about the new Art of Delivery Monthly, all you need to do is go to tappingqa.com/monthly. This is G Mantra Stelly, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, recorded live to tape in Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 490, originally aired December 2nd, 2020. Hi everyone, I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you get a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Today we are going to talk about and tap for making big decisions and choosing a new path. Before I do that, I'd just like to send a big shout out to everyone who is a supporter of the Tapping Q&A podcast. You're able to receive this podcast every single week absolutely free because of those amazing supporters. I'd like to thank Daniela, who is our most recent supporter of the show. She has received, as well as everybody else who's supporting the podcast, all of the MP3s from the Tapping Challenge that we just completed, scripts for all of them, as well as access to the Tapping Jam that we recorded in the beginning of the month. If you would like to be a supporter as well, receive amazing bonuses, surprise bonuses like they got this month, and make sure that the show continues, you can go to tappingqa.com/support. That's tappingqa.com/support. And again, thank you to everyone who is supporting the show. I'm not exactly sure if it is something that is just in the air because it is 2020, or if it's just something that I happen to be noticing, or if it's something that is an amazing coincidence inside of my clients and people in my life. But there are a number of people in my life right now, personally and professionally, who are going through really dramatic changes. Changing in their marital status, changing in where they live, changing in the work that they do. And some of those changes are really big and dramatic. And it is possible that as we have had the year that we have had to be more reflective on who we are and what we want to be and what we want to do, and our time is not filled in the exact same way, it might just be that people are getting a chance to ask questions about the life that they're living and if they're in the right spot. And when that happens, when we make that sort of transition, it can be really hard because not only are we changing a state in our life where we live, what we do, who we are in relationship with, but many of those changes are identification markers in how we define ourselves and how other people define us. And so when we transition from one thing to another, when we make a big choice, there's also implicit and explicit negotiation and renegotiation of all of the relationships we have and how people choose to see us and how we think we're being seen. Because sometimes we think there is a major change in how people are perceiving us when it's not. But if we're perceiving that, then we're going to act accordingly. And because that is the case, it can make it really difficult for us to kind of navigate the day and step into the new way in a bold way. Even if we've already made the change, we can do it in a tentative way, or we can do it in a way that is really emotionally charged. And so today, as so many of us are in times of deep transition and choosing new paths, I thought it would be a great time just to take a few minutes to tap for the idea of creating that sort of sense of transition. So if you are transitioning in small ways, this will be just as helpful as the transitions that are happening in big ways, because even small changes like that can impact us and impact how we navigate the world. So to begin with, just tapping the side of the hand, take a nice big deep breath for me. And just move from tapping point to tapping point, repeating after me. I recognize that I am in transition. I recognize my life is changing. My life is always changing day to day. And sometimes my life changes in grand ways. Insignificant ways. In ways that change the way I interact with everyone around me. And when this happens, it can make it difficult for me to know where I stand. To know how people are thinking about me. To know what people are thinking about me. And because that's the case, I can feel insecure. I can feel unsteady. I can feel overwhelmed. There's a very primitive part of me that wants me to be safe. The way it defines safety is how I am connected to others. Because I'm making such a big transition, I'm having to renegotiate my relationship with others. Which feels uncertain. Which feels very unsafe to this primitive part of me. The part of me that's trying to keep me safe likes predictable. The part of me that is trying to keep me safe likes consistency. Because I'm going through so much change, this part is more aware. This part is more on guard. This part is working overtime. Even though there is major change in my life, I can be safe. Even though there is major change in my life, I can be consistent. Even though there is major change in my life, I can still be comfortable inside of my own skin. In the long term, the change I'm going through is good for me. Even though it's difficult in this moment. This change isn't about right now. It's about everything that comes after this moment. How I'm able to build on this change. How I'm able to grow through this change. I give myself permission to trust myself. And I give myself permission to trust the process as it unfolds. Nice big deep breath. Big change is hard. Like we tapped on inside of that, the subconscious mind really likes the predictable. Even things that are predictably bad, at least they're predictable and we know how to manage them. When we make major change, we're renegotiating so many things. Our schedule, who we spend time with, where we spend that time, how the day looks, how people define us. And because that's the case, the part that wants predictability is just overworking in its efforts to continue to keep us safe. If you know someone in your life who's going through a big transition right now, feel free to pass this along. Don't spam your inbox and send it to everybody in the world. But you might know one or two people who this will be the thing that just makes their day a little easier as they're doing this particular transition. And even if they don't click the link, just sending them a note saying, hey, I know you're going through something really big right now. I got your back. That might be the thing that gets them through today, which makes it easier for them to live into that change. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the podcast. As always, subscribing in podcast parlance is always free. There is no fees like Netflix or anything like that. You can find the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, basically everywhere you find audio. Just search Tapping Q&A and you will find the show. Click subscribe, click follow, turn on the notifications so that when new episodes come out, you are notified so you don't miss the goodness as it unfolds. If you have a question, if you have a comment, if you have a topic you'd like us to cover, please reach out. Let me know. Gene, Gene, at tappingqa.com, or you can click the contact link on the website. Or if you happen to be in the Tapping Q&A app, just click on that contact link. You can send me an email or a voicemail from inside of the app. And if you have not done so already, I'd encourage you to download the free app in the Apple iOS store, in the Android app store. If you just search Tapping Q&A, not only do you get access to the entire archive of the podcast, if it's a tap along like this week, there's also a written out version of the tapping script. So you can just pull that up and tap along to it without even having to hit play. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Montrestelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Montrestelli Tapping Q&A. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Montrestelli and Tapping Q&A.